Is my voice audible?
We will start today's session with a short guided meditation. So I request everyone to kindly sit. Let me take a pause and bring my attention to the present moment. Let me see myself as a tiny star in the center of the forehead. I am a peaceful being. Vibrations of peace emerge from me and spread to every cell of the brain. Relaxed. Sense of calmness taking me over. Sit for a while, enjoying this feeling. I am now ready to embrace the present moment through the lens of my original nature. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. So we will begin today's session. So I'll start sharing my screen. Is the screen visible to everyone? If you can let me know in the chat box. Uh, Anika sister, if can you please share the page numbers in the chat so that everyone knows? Okay. For PDF, it is page number 112 onwards, and in the hard copy, it is page number 96 on. Okay, so we will start with sermon on the body. So the author is telling what you perceive as a dense physical structure called the body, which is subject to disease, old age, and death, is not ultimately real, is not you. So, do all of you agree with this first statement that the author is telling us? The author is telling that the body that we consider as us is not who we truly are, because that body is a dense physical structure which is subject to disease, old age, and death. So, do you agree with what the author is telling us here? Okay. It is a misperception of your essential reality that is beyond birth and death and is due to the limitations of your mind, which, having lost touch with being, creates the body as evidence of its illusory belief in separation and to justify its state of fear. So, the being, because of the limitations of the mind, we have lost the touch with the being. So, what is the being? The being is the soul. In Gita, there is a famous statement that Atma Ajar Amar Avinashi hai, right? So, the author is referring to the soul over here as the being, and because we have forgotten our true self, we think of ourselves as the body. The body is nothing but a creation of the five elements of nature. But do not turn away from the body, for within that symbol of impermanence, limitation, and death that you perceive as the illusory creation of your mind is concealed the splendor of your essential and immortal reality. So this means that the being, the soul sits within the body, right? So it is like the body is a costume and the soul sits within the costume. Do not turn your attention elsewhere in your search for the truth, for it is nowhere else to be found but within your body. So the truth does not lie outside, it lies within. Do not fight against the body, for in doing so, you're fighting against your own reality. You are your body. The body that you can see and touch is only a thin, illusory veil. Underneath it lies the invisible inner body, the doorway into being, into life unmanifested. Through the inner body, you are inseparably connected to this unmanifested one life, birthless, deathless, eternally present. Through the inner body, you are forever one with God. It means that your true self is cannot die. It cannot be, it is birthless, right? What does it mean? So the soul takes on costumes. The costume means it takes on bodies. Birth and death comes to the bodies, but it can never come to the soul because the soul is eternal. There has never been a time when the soul has never been there. And you are forever one with God means like you are a soul, God too is a soul. Have deep roots within. The key is to be in a state of permanent connectedness with your inner body to feel it at all times. This will rapidly deepen and transform your life. The more consciousness you direct into the inner body, the higher its vibrational frequency becomes, much like a light that grows brighter as you turn up the dimmer switch and so increase the flow of electricity. So, what the author is telling here is whatever you pay attention to will grow. We have paid attention to the external world, and that is why we have become extroverted. Now, for a change, we need to start paying attention to the inner world. And when we do that, our attention will flow there. As a result, this inner consciousness the soul consciousness will increase and we can feel it more easily. At this higher energy level, negativity cannot affect you anymore, and you tend to attract new circumstances that reflect this higher frequency. So, whatever vibration, whatever energy you radiate to the universe will give you a return of that. So, soul consciousness is a very high state of mind, and body consciousness is a low state of mind, right? So, when you're vibrating at a very high frequency, then that's the vibration you radiate to the world, and then the circumstances that happens around you will also be of a higher frequency. If you keep your attention in the body as much as possible, you will be anchored in the now. You won't lose yourself in the external world and you won't lose yourself in your mind. Thoughts and emotions, fears and desires may still be there to some extent, but they won't take you over. So, when you start practicing all this, you will understand, you will begin to realize how all these things of the external world, which impacted you more before, will begin to gradually decrease. So you will know that that will be the proof that yes, I am moving in the right direction. Please examine where your attention is at the moment. You are listening to me or you are reading these words in a book. That is the focus of your attention. You are also peripherally aware of your surroundings, other people, and so on. Furthermore, there may be some mind activity around what you are hearing or reading, some mental commentary. Yet, there is no need for any of this to absorb all your attention. See if you can be in touch with your inner body at the same time. Keep some of your attention within. Don't let it all flow out. So, what the author is telling here is we are now reading this book. Some of you are seeing the PDF screen, you're reading from there, you're also listening to what I'm saying. But the author is telling that along with doing all of that, we need to keep some of our attention within. We need to tell ourselves that it is not the body which is reading, which is listening, but I, the being, I, the soul that sits within the body, is reading, is listening with the support of this body. Feel your whole body from within as a single field of energy. So the being is energy, so it is a point of light, the soul, and it gives energy to each and every part of the body. That is why this is the physical body, and within this, there is also a body of light, right? So that is what the author is telling. Fill your whole body from within as a single field of energy. It is almost as if you were listening or reading with your whole body. Let this be your practice in the days and weeks to come. Do not give all your attention away to the mind and the external world. By all means, focus on what you are doing, but feel the inner body at the same time whenever possible. Stay rooted within. So, when you start this practice, initially, what you need to do, you need to start reminding yourself that it is not the body that is doing, but I, the soul, I, the being, I am doing everything using this body as an instrument, using this body as a support. So, in the beginning, you will remind yourself, you will tell yourself this, you will forget. And then again, you need to remind yourself. And slowly, slowly, you will become more aware of your inner body. Then observe how this changes your state of consciousness and the quality of what you are doing. Whenever you're waiting, wherever it may be, use that time to feel the inner body. In this way, traffic jams and lineups become more very enjoyable. Instead of mentally projecting yourself away from the now, go more deeply into the now by going more deeply into the body. So the author is telling us about the method by which we can go more deeply into the now. So we can do that by focusing on the inner self, on the inner body. The art of inner body awareness will develop into a completely new way of living, a state of permanent connectedness with being, and will add a depth to your life that you have never known before. What happens when you start living like this? You start feeling light and you can enjoy each and every scene of the life more. It is easy to stay present as the observer of your mind when you are deeply rooted within your body. No matter what happens on the outside, nothing can shake you anymore. So you become truly invincible because you are so rooted in your true self that external world cannot shake you anymore. So that is true power. Unless you stay present, and inhabiting your body is always an essential aspect of it, you will continue to be run by your mind. The script in your head that you learned a long time ago, the conditioning of your mind, will dictate your thinking and your behavior. You may be free of it for brief intervals, but rarely for long. This is especially true when something goes wrong or there is some loss or upset. Your conditioned reaction will then be involuntary, automatic, and predictable, fueled by the one basic emotion that underlies the mind identified state of consciousness, that is fear. So what the author is telling that our mind has been conditioned in a certain way long time ago, and now it has become an automated state of being. So especially when there is a crisis, when there is a challenge, the mind starts to think very fast and it will create a lot of emotions which might not even be true, right? But it will create a lot of emotion, and that emotion, the basis of those emotions is fear. So in those moments, what we have to do, the mind will give its own commentary, but we need to tell ourselves that no, I, the soul, am more powerful, and I always have the power to choose my own response. So in that way, the mind, whatever the mind says, you don't listen to it. You create the response that you want to have in that situations. So when such challenges come, as they always do, make it a habit to go within at once and focus as much as you can on the inner energy field of your body. This need not take long, just a few seconds, but you need to do it the moment the challenge presents itself. So do not get carried away by what the mind is telling you. Get connected to the inner body, the inner being. Any delay will allow a conditioned mental emotional reaction to arise and take you over. Initially, it starts small, but because we pay attention, that it grows very rapid. So we need not give it the attention. We immediately need to make the switch. When you focus within and feel the inner body, you immediately become still and present as you are withdrawing consciousness from the mind. Therefore, to not give attention is the way to overcome the whatever the mind is telling you. E- Era response is required in that situation. It will come up from this deeper level. Just as the sun is infinitely brighter than a candle flame, there is infinitely more intelligence in being than in your mind. So, all the answers that we seek in our day to day life, the answer lies within us, right? On a mind level, it might appear that we don't know the answer. But if we sit with ourselves, if we go within, we will know that the answers lie within us. As long as you are in conscious contact with your inner body, you are like a tree that is deeply rooted in the earth or a building with a deep and solid foundation. The later analogy is used by Jesus in the generally misunderstood parable of the two men who built a house. One man builds it on the sand without a foundation, and when the storms and floods come, the house is swept away. The other man digs deep until he reaches the rock, then builds his house, which is not swept away by the floods. So the storms and the floods here refer to the challenges that comes in the day-to-day life, and the man and the sand over here refers to the body, right? So when I, the soul, stay connected to the rock, to the inner self, like when I am rooted in my true identity, then despite all the challenges, I will not shake. I will remain firm. But if I'm connected to the mind, if I'm connected, if I think of myself as a body, if have a body consciousness, then the outside situations can easily influence me. Before you enter the body, forgive. The seeker is telling the author, I felt very uncomfortable when I tried to put my attention on the inner body. There was a feeling of agitation and some nausea. So I haven't been able to experience what you are talking about. So the author is telling, what you felt was a lingering emotion that you were probably unaware of until you started putting some attention into the body. Unless you first give it some attention, the emotion will prevent you from gaining access to the inner body, which lies at a deeper level underneath it. Attention does not mean that you start thinking about it. It means to just observe the emotion, to feel it fully, and so to acknowledge and accept it as it is. Some emotions are easily identified: anger, fear, grief, and so on. Others may be much harder to label. They may just be vague feelings of unease, heaviness, or constriction, halfway between an emotion and a physical sensation. In any case, what matters is not whether you can attach a mental label to it, but whether you can bring the feeling of it into awareness as much as possible. Attention is the key to transformation, and the full attention also implies acceptance. Attention is like a beam of light, the focused power of your consciousness that transmutes everything into itself. In a fully functioning organism, an emotion has a very short lifespan. It is like a momentary ripple or wave on the surface of your being. When you are not in your body, however, an emotion can survive inside you for days or weeks or join with other emotions of a similar frequency that have merged, and the pain body, a parasite that can live inside you for years, feed on your energy, lead to physical illness, and make your life miserable. So often, that is why it is important that in when any challenge comes, and if we have created some thoughts, some feelings which are of negative or waste nature, it is important to address it and to clean it. Otherwise, what happens, they will continue to be in your body, and we might not pay attention to it, so we might not know about it, but it will still be a part of the body, and then those energies will combine together to create a pain body. That is why we should always clear everything. Every night when we go to sleep, we should clear our mind. We should just forgive those whom maybe we have hurt in some way throughout the day. We should apologize to those whom we have, we might have been mean in some way to them. So we need to just clear the accounts every day. So place your attention on feeling the emotion and check whether your mind is holding onto a grievance pattern such as blame, self pity, or resentment that is feeding the emotion. If that is the case, it means that you haven't forgiven. Non forgiveness is often toward another person or yourself, but it may just as well be toward any situation or condition, past, present, or future, that your mind refuses to. Often we might say that, when some situations happen, some people say that I can never forget this. I can never forgive that person. So that is very harmful, especially for the self, because those emotions tend to be a part of your being and they continue to manifest within you, and your pain body gets stronger. That is why it is so essential to forgive. Yes, there can be non forgiveness even with regard to the future. This is the mind's refusal to accept uncertainty, to accept that the future is ultimately beyond its control. Forgiveness is to relinquish your grievance and so to let go of grief. Happens naturally once you realize that your grievance serves no purpose except to strengthen a false sense of self. Forgiveness is to offer no resistance to life, to allow life to live through you. The alternatives are pain and suffering, a greatly restricted flow of life energy, and in many cases, physical disease. So, what happens? The author is telling the opposite of forgiveness is pain and suffering, and nobody consciously will choose pain and suffering, right? So today, now that we have the understanding of what happens if we hold on to things, today let us make a conscious choice to let go, not for anybody else but for ourselves, because otherwise this negative emotions will be there and sometimes they even manifest into physical disease. So why should we knowingly make life more difficult for ourselves when we can actually enjoy each and every scene of life? The moment you truly forgive, you have reclaimed your power from the mind. Non forgiveness is the very nature of the mind, just as the mind made false self, the ego, cannot survive without strife and conflict. The mind cannot forgive, only you can. So, you means you, the soul, can. You become present, you enter your body, you feel the vibrant peace and stillness that emanate from being. That is why Jesus said, before you enter the temple, forgive. Temple means the body. So if you treat your body as a temple, then obviously you will handle it with a lot of care. You will only allow pure things to enter, right? So forgive to clean all the accounts. Your link with the unmanifested. What is the relationship between presence and the inner body? Presence is pure consciousness, consciousness that has been reclaimed from the mind, from the world of form. Inner body is your link with the unmanifested, and in its deepest aspect is the unmanifested, the source from which consciousness emanates as light emanates from the sun. Awareness of the inner body is consciousness, remembering its origin and returning to the. Is the unmanifested the same as being? Yes, the word unmanifested attempts, by way of negation, to express that which cannot be spoken, thought, or imagined. It points to what is by saying what it is not. Being, on the other hand, is a positive term. Please don't get attached to either of these words or start believing in them. They are no more than signposts. So these words do not hold the experience in it, right? So it's just an indication, it's just a signpost. It gives us a direction towards something. That is why the author is telling not to get lost in them, but rather we should focus more on the experience. You said that presence is consciousness that has been reclaimed from the mind. Who does the reclaiming? You do. But since in your essence you are consciousness, We might as well say that it is an awakening of consciousness from the dream of form. This does not mean that your own form will instantly vanish in an explosion of light. You can continue in your present form, yet be aware of the formless and deathless deep within you. So the being does not have a form, right? So our mind has been so conditioned to seeing a structure, to seeing a form, that it is difficult for it to understand that which does not have a form. The being can be felt, it cannot be seen. I must admit that this is way beyond my comprehension. And yet, on some deeper level, I seem to know what you are talking about. It's more like a feeling than anything else. Am I deceiving myself? No, you are not. Feeling will get you closer to the truth of who you are than thinking. I cannot tell you anything that deep within you don't already know. When you have reached a certain stage of inner connectedness, you recognize the truth when you hear it. If you haven't reached that stage yet, the practice of body awareness will bring about the deepening that is necessary. Slowing down the aging process. In the meantime, awareness of the inner body has other benefits in the physical realm. One of them is a significant slowing down of the aging of the physical body. Whereas the outer body normally appears to grow old and wither fairly quickly, the inner body does not change with time, except that you may feel it more deeply and become it more fully. If you are 20 years old now, the energy field of your inner body will feel just the same when you are 80. That is why many people say that I might have grown up, in terms of age, but I don't feel old because of this reason, because the energy that lies within, it will be just as vibrantly alive. As soon as your habitual state changes from being out of the body and trapped in your mind to being in the body and present in the now, your physical body will feel lighter, clearer, more alive. As there is more consciousness in the body, its molecular structure actually becomes less dense. More consciousness means a lessening of the illusion of materiality. So this proves that how we think it impacts the body, the molecular structure of the body as well. So one way to feel less tense is to be more aware of who we truly are. When you have become identified more with the timeless inner body than with the outer body, when presence becomes your normal mode of consciousness and past and future no longer dominate your attention, you do not accumulate time anymore in your psyche and in the cells of the body. The accumulation of time as a psychological burden of past and future greatly impairs the cell's capacity for self renewal. So, the more dependent we are on the past and the future, the more it impacts the cell's ability for self renewal. So, the cell cannot repair itself, right? So, we need to be more careful. That is why more the need to be in the present moment. So, if you inhabit the inner body, the outer body will grow old at a much slower rate, and even when it does, your timeless essence will shine through the outer form, and you will not give the appearance of an old person. So, the more positive thought you think in your mind, the more you will look young. Today, people spend so much of money in trying to look good, trying to be young forever. But you don't need money. You simply need to start having good thoughts. Is there any scientific evidence for this? Try it out and you will be the evidence. So, whenever you come across anything new, always experiment with yourself first. Don't reject it immediately, but take it up as an experiment. And when you see the positive results, then accept it. And then when you share it with others, they will also believe you more because you have lived through the experience. Strengthening the immune system. Another benefit of this practice in the physical realm is a great strengthening of the immune system, which occurs when you inhabit the body. The more consciousness you bring into the body, the stronger the immune system becomes. It is as if every cell awakens and rejoices. The body loves your attention. It is also a potent form of self healing. Most illnesses creep in when you are not present in the body. If the master is not present in the house, all kinds of shady characters will take up residence there. When you inhabit your body, it will be hard for unwanted guests to enter. So, this again has another important benefit, which is the strengthening of the immune system. Today, so many people spend so much of money on medicines because somewhere they are not present. That is why the illness are also increasing because the master is absent. It's not present in the house. So the more we focus on ourselves, we can also free ourselves and from all the medications, and we can strengthen the immune system. It is not only your physical immune system that becomes strengthened, your psychic immune system is greatly enhanced as well. The latter protects you from the negative mental emotional force fields of others, which are highly contagious. Inhabiting the body protects you not by putting up a shield, but by raising the frequency vibration of your total energy field so that anything that vibrates at lower frequencies, such as fear, anger, depression, and so on, now exist in what is virtually a different order of reality. It does not enter your field of consciousness anymore, or if it does, you don't need to offer any resistance to it because it passes right through you. That means you have raised your frequency, so the lower frequency cannot impact you, cannot harm you, cannot influence you anymore. Please don't just accept or reject what I'm saying, put it to the test. So we should always experiment with what we are learning. This is a simple but powerful self healing meditation that you can do whenever you feel the need to boost your immune system. It is particularly effective if used when you feel the first symptom of an illness, but it also works with illnesses that are already entrenched if you use it at frequent intervals and with an intense focus. It will also counteract any disruption of your energy field by some form of negativity. However, it is not a substitute for the moment to moment practice of being in the body. Otherwise, its effect will only be temporary. Here it is. When you are unoccupied for a few minutes, especially the last thing at night before falling asleep and the first thing in the morning before getting up, flood your body with consciousness. Close your eyes, lie flat on your back. Choose different parts of your body to focus your attention on briefly at first: hands, feet, arms, legs, abdomen, chest, head, and so on. Fill the life energy inside those parts as intensely as you can. Stay with each part for 15 seconds or so. Then let your attention run through the body like a wave a few times from feet to head and back again. This need only take a minute. After that, feel the inner body in its totality as a single field of energy. Hold that feeling for a few minutes. Be intensely present during that time, present in every cell of your body. Don't be concerned if the mind occasionally succeeds in drawing your attention out of the body and you lose yourself in some thought. As soon as you notice that this has happened, just return your attention to the inner body. So, all of you can take this up as an experiment for today before you go to the bed tonight, and when you wake up tomorrow you can practice this and you can share your experience with us in tomorrow's meeting. Okay, so we will cover this part and then we can stop for today. Let the breath take you into the body. At times, when my mind has been very active, it has acquired such momentum that I find it impossible to take my attention away from it and feel the inner body. This happens particularly when I get into a worry or anxiety pattern. Do you have any suggestions? If at any time you're finding it hard to get in touch with the inner body, it is usually easier to focus on your breathing. So sometimes it happens that the mind runs so fast that we cannot feel the inner body. So, what the author is suggesting in such cases, we can start by focusing on our breathing. Conscious breathing, which is a powerful meditation in its own right, will gradually put you in touch with the body. Follow the breath with your attention as it moves in and out of your body. Breathe into the body and feel your abdomen expanding and contracting slightly with each inhalation and exhalation. If you find it easy to visualize, close your eyes and see yourself surrounded by a light or immersed in a luminous substance, a sea of consciousness. Then breathe in that light. Feel the luminous substance filling up your body and making it luminous. Then gradually focus more on the feeling. You are now in your body. Don't get attached to any visual image. So, what we need to do, the author is suggesting us that we should not get caught up in name or form, but rather focus more on the experience, on the feeling. So we can stop here for today, and tomorrow we can start with the creative use of the mind. Okay, so okay, so I'll stop sharing the screen. So, do any of you want to share anything based on what we learned today? Any part of the chapter that you like? Okay, so we have the questions. What have you understood from what the author has suggested about transformation through the body? Do you think you can stay in constant awareness of the truth that is hidden within your body? Anybody wants to answer this question? Okay, anybody, you can share any views. Like, it's not about being right or wrong, it's just sharing your views. Okay, I will unmute Rajiv ji.
Hello,
Hello.
hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are, Bhaiji.
One minute. One.
Yeah, you can share your views.
Now, one is allow. Actually, the author is trying to say that. So once we attach with our soul, our you may say it as a subconscious mind or anything or any thought. Really, we do anything in his presence. In its presence, really we are able to do it nicely because our internal soul is we should connect with him and he suggested that if mind is wandering from here to there, then reciprocation is the only way to focus us about the internal thought. Reciprocity, conscious reciprocity, conscious view of respiration brought us cool, calm, and insufficient. That sometimes we are due to much agitation and something we are not in position to observe the normal natural state. In that condition, we should
Okay.
keep strength and मतलब हम को ताकत लगा के सांस को थोड़ा we should monitor. We if we are not in the position to monitor it, then we should put a force and regulate the breathing. Then start observing. It will certainly put you in cool state. Okay,
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your views. I'll unmute
just
Sujata.
try to
Yeah. Yeah, please say, brother.
try to say whatever I am feeling, not
Yeah, yeah,
what.
definitely. Yes, thank you so much for sharing your views. Okay, Sujata sister, you can now share your views.
Om Shanti. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. Regarding first part of the question, that is, what have you understood about what the author has suggested about transformation through the body? So for me, I understood is if we are able to focus on our inner body through this outer body, then if we can do this constantly, that is the energy flowing through our body or being conscious of inner body, then transformation is possible. But second part, that is, do you think you can stay in constant awareness of the truth that is hidden within your body? So I always feel, and yesterday also I wanted to ask a question, that we are in this compulsive thinking or uh, that collective consciousness, that is body consciousness, since many births. So it is very difficult now to transform that body consciousness to soul consciousness. Means it will take time. It is not so easy to make this transformation fast, or there is no quick fix. It will, we have to be very patient and persistent, and time and again we have to remind ourselves to go back to soul consciousness. It will again go back to body consciousness. So I feel it is very it is not means it is not easy, or it is not this transformation and staying in constant awareness of the truth within body or inner body or soul consciousness is difficult, I feel. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sister. Yeah, it is true that we need to be patient and practice with ourselves, right? It takes time, but with practice and attention, we can definitely be victorious. Okay. So, anybody else wants to share? We can see the second question. which is, according to the author, there is infinitely more intelligence in being than in your mind. Have you experienced this, especially during challenging situations? How can you practice examining your attention and learn the art of inner body awareness? Okay, I'll unmute Vijay, brother.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Ma'am, author suggested that uh, if we get means thinking, if we means get multiple thoughts at the same time, then we should focus on our breathing, breathe in and breathe out. Through this, we can get the consciousness. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. What have you understood about the importance of forgiveness from what the author has suggested? Do you feel that your mind holds on to grievances which prevent you from staying in the present and experiencing the peace and stillness within? Okay, I'll unmute Rajiv ji.
Forgiveness is the best way to bring up anyone in at ease or in the present moment. Because if you are not forgiving anyone, you collect his as a burden and as a stress inbuilt and anything. It means it will remind you later on till and it may be because first of all I have to say that first thought comes in the mind, then comes as a word, then as a action. So we have in forgiveness uh, quench the fire, and so you become happy because fire is quenched and it will not burn. We should. It is my opinion.
Okay, okay.
On, on, am
Om
I,
Sh- Yeah, brother.
is it okay or
Yeah, yeah,
need any clarity, ma'am? Because what it is my opinion.
yeah, yeah.
I,
Sure,
I want
definitely.
to know.
Yeah, we are discussing here, so you can
No,
share your.
I want to know your opinion because you are. I feel that you are more lighter than us.
It is not like that,
No,
but
no, no, no. You can't say like
even I am reading this book and learning myself. So,
you are learning, but your face uh, looks like it that you may say that it's flowing, not you are reading. That you read as a river.
okay. Okay, no, I do agree with what you said about forgiveness. Forgiveness is definitely important, and like the author said, right? So we should practice forgiveness. Okay, thank you
Yes,
for
yes.
sharing your
You
views.
said we should forgive ourselves too.
We
If
should forgive, right?
uh,
Forgiveness begins with us, right? So when we can forgive ourselves, then we can forgive others. So everything starts with ourselves.
yes, yes.
Okay. So I'll unmute Sujata, sister.
Om Shanti, am I audible?
Yeah, sister.
I would first like to talk about second question also. That there is infinitely more intelligence in being than in your mind. That I some many times I realized and experienced, because our mind is full of samskar, that is same repeating thoughts come. But our being or soul is a child of supreme soul, that is God, which has everything infinite: peace, joy, wisdom, power, everything. So when we are in the state of being or conscious or awareness, soul consciousness, then definitely that divine intelligence, infinite intelligence flows through us. But it is very difficult to bring that soul consciousness, so we are unable to experience that infinite God's intelligence. But like small experience, I will share my own. That every day I made some flower rangoli in my home, and initially I used to see YouTube videos and get it into my mind and then go and make that. But then I stopped that and I started to just pray, Divine Father, and let your intelligence flow through me, and I will draw. I will make those rangolis. So there, when I started this practice, every day my design is different. It is good. I mean, people say that your rangolis are good, and I don't know how fast it comes, and without my thinking anything, without any of my efforts. It is effortless, good, and every day different, not repeating. So I experience in such small example, but however, in a like I am a research scientist, so I want that divine intelligence to flow through in my research work, but it doesn't happen here. I don't know why I want to experience here. Maybe because this is my office work, I am not that light and I don't allow that intelligence to flow through me. I my future like homework or practice is that same experience I should get in my professional work. Then regarding forgiveness, if we dwell on to the same repetitive some hurts, or if we have given hurt to anybody, then that guilt, then our mind will be occupied by those negative waste thoughts and its soul power will be depleted a lot. So in order to experience our soul power, which is infinite in all sense, we have to forgive and make a space for it to flow. Then only that will be reflected. Otherwise, it is occupied by those hurtful, painful thoughts, and that energy will be lost. Leakage. That is a leakage. So, if we don't stop leakage, then definitely we will not be filled with divine intelligence. So, forgiveness is very, very important to you experience our soul's infinite power. That is what about the two questions. Thank you, Om Shanti.
Thank you. Yeah, it is absolutely right. So we will also need to stop leakage, like you said, right? So positive thoughts, it helps us to accumulate to protect our inner energy field. But when we think negative and waste, that is when there is a leakage. So the more we reduce that, we will be able to feel the connection with God better, right? And we can have more better and good experiences with God. Okay, so if we have anybody else who wants to share their views, else we can end today's session with a beautiful song. Anybody wants to share their views? Okay, so today we will wrap up here. Okay, Sujata, sister, I'll unmute her.
Om Shanti. Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
In today's book reading part, actually, I like this very much, that strengthening of our immune system, physical as well as psychic immune system. So, that practice in the night before sleeping and after getting up in the morning, that is a small practice, but I strongly feel that it will benefit us in the long run tremendously, that is sending our life force energy from bottom of the foot to the head and again back.
Yeah.
That will help us reduce the aging and increase the immune system, physical as well as psychic, which is very, very helpful and important. And it is, I loved it the most. Om
Yeah.
Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you. And the best part is all of this comes free of cost, right? So you just need your attention and you can heal yourself. Okay, so thank you everyone for today's session. We will meet again tomorrow. I'll request Anika sister from the team to play other song and we can end with the song. Thank you.
सिर्फ 1 घंटे में प्लम्स
डिजिटल ऑडियो प्लेयर। इस तोहफे में है 5000 सुनहरे गाने और कुछ यादें। चल के तुझे मैं लेके चलूं एक ऐसे गगन के तले, जहां गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार पले। चल के तुझे मैं लेके चलूं एक ऐसे गगन के तले, जहां गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार पले। एक ऐसे गगन के तले। सूरज की पहली किरण से आशा का सवेरा जागे, सूरज की पहली किरण से आशा का सवेरा जागे, चंदा की किरण से धुलकर घनघोर अंधेरा भागे, चंदा की किरण से धुलकर घनघोर अंधेरा भागे। कभी धूप खिले कभी छाँव मिले, लंबी सी डगर न खले, जहाँ गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार पले। एक ऐसे गगन के तले। जहाँ दूर नजर दौड़ाए, आजाद गगन लहराए, जहाँ दूर नजर दौड़ाए, आजाद गगन लहराए, जहाँ रंग बिरंगे पंछी आशा का संदेशा लाए, जहाँ रंग बिरंगे पंछी आशा का संदेशा लाए, सपनों में पली हंसती हो कली, जहाँ शाम सुहानी ढले, जहाँ गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार पले। एक ऐसे गगन के तले। सपनों के ऐसे जहां में जहां प्यार ही प्यार खिला हो, हम जाके वहां खो जाएं, शिकवा न कोई गिला हो, कहीं बैर न हो कोई गैर न हो, सब मिल के यूं चलते चले, जहां गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार पले। आ चल के तुझे मैं लेके चलूं एक ऐसे गगन के तले, जहां गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार पले, एक ऐसे गगन के तले।